Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War. And this podcast is our thoughts and discussions about the Flames of War games and other related interests. This episode is brought to you by Tracy George and Chaos Magic. We are not claiming to be experts of the game, but just wanted to have a casual conversation about Flames of War. Without any further delay, we now make our advance onto the podcast. And here are your hosts, Tracy and Arthur.
This is Tracy.
And I'm Arthur.
Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War, Episode 16. Forget the Bayonets. Give me 8 million guns instead. What's on tap for today's episode, Arthur?
We have 5 topics of interest. We continue our discussion about Team Yankee and answer the questions of the week in front page news. We take a look at how vehicles interact with the streams and rivers in That's New. We look at a mid-war warrior and keep your enemies close. The third Italian special rule is the topic of interest for national tactics. And we end the podcast with finishing the land plans chapter in Sun Tzu.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Battlefront Front Page news.
Alright, so let's take a look at Battlefront's front page. Got some more Soviet stuff coming in. Plastic. And they're talking about the IS-2 tank and some more plastic stuff. The bed spring stuff, man, they've been throwing that out big time. They've been talking about that bed spring armor.
Yeah, saw someone else's video talk about it. Saying like in real life, it didn't really matter. But I think it helped give the illusion to the people in the tanks that it was better. So that felt safer, so they did better.
Oh. All right, then we got what you talked about last time, that campaign they've got going.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say the city's name. Caen? C-A-E-N?
Oh, yeah. I have no idea. Yeah. Just call it Firestorm. Well, Firestorm in the city.
So
I haven't looked at the new stuff yet, like the campaign map.
Yeah. Well, what is starting in? Is it November? It's starting?
Yeah, I think October is when they're going to start the official sign up, and then start playing from like November to January.
Then some tournaments and stuff, but down towards the bottom here it says that Breakthrough Assault Yankee preview.
Yeah.
Now I still haven't got my question answered on this. Okay, so kind of going what they're doing. Okay, yeah, it's based on the novel, and it's from the point of T Yankee Commander, and the book is going to be released by Battlefront and on Kindle. It's already on Kindle. You can get it on Kindle already. But I guess they're going to re-release the book in paperback.
Yeah.
So the rule book, they said, is going to be 120 pages. That includes the entire rules, and then there's some background. And then what's nice is it's the complete U.S. and Soviet forces and scenarios. But it says from the novel. So I don't know if they're going to have like a USA book just come out and a Soviet book come out, or if it's going to be like Flames of War is now. You're like, here's the Battle of the Bulge books, which, since this is fictional, there's no point of reference as far as, battles, so.
That's true. Yeah, I know more stuff's coming out, just I don't know what the order's going to be or how it's going to be arranged.
Yeah. So they say it's similar to Flames of War, but it's not.
Yeah.
Easier rules, which appeals to me because I'm trying to remember the rule book, and I've got a very, very busy life right now. An easier rule system is going to appeal more to me.
And especially the example they use is the hit allocation, which is really complicated.
It is.
And they're going to go with 1 page instead of 4.
That's going to be nice. And I can see using this kind of what they're talking about is a good way to have people introduced to the game. Yeah. And they said it's going to be a living rule book, which is kind of what they're doing now because they've been putting out facts and revising the rules saying this is what we meant. So they've been kind of doing that anyway.
Well, I think a living rule book is actually a little bit more, and wish like new rules will add more to it.
And then they're also talking about tournament play. Lots of tanks and helicopters.
Which gives me some hope that they're going to put that much effort into the helicopter kits that I will assume they're going to play a much bigger role in the battlefield. Because otherwise, like, oh, that's a really nice helicopter model. Too bad I use it for 15 seconds per game.
Well, okay, kind of hitting on that. That's the one thing I wish they would have talked more about. And then I was kind of talking to you one day about, well, maybe the helicopters always stay on the table, but like the A-10 Warthog and all that, they're kind of like with Flames of War. They come in, do their job, and they're out of there because they're a lot faster. They're and gone. Where the helicopter can hang around.
Even then, I still like to have my planes.
I agree. I agree.
On the table.
So they said it's going to be, I guess, a faster game, which appeals to me also.
Yeah.
I guess things move faster also. Because they talk about things moving much faster as far as moving distance on the table.
It says tanks are slower.
Oh, it was the men that were faster. That's right. You're right. And there's going to be...
The speed that you fight is slightly faster for infantry and slower for tanks. Okay.
And what some people are like, what, cards? Well, it's not bad to have a reference card.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
The rules, boom.
I know War Machine does this. Enemy Tactics has cards. So, like, yeah, I have no problem with that.
I don't either. And it says Modern Warfare is deadlier. Yes. Okay, so I still want to know about the aircraft, how they're in helicopters, how they're going to play into the game. I agree with you on that. I hope it does more than just, okay, I'm coming in, okay, here it is, okay, and it does shots, now it's going away. Oh, wait, you get your anti-aircraft fire, okay, it survives, here it comes. All right, now it's off the table.
Yeah. They said next week they're going to talk about how you pick your army. So if there's options to pick multiple aircraft, then you should assume aircraft would be a bigger role.
I just, from my point of view, I think the helicopters are going to stay on the table, but the jets are going to be on and off the table like they are now. Because they don't hover, and they're really fast. They're just gone and here and then gone. Where the helicopter kind of hovers there and shooting its rockets, and then maneuvers to a new position.
Of course, like people on the ground also have weaponry that can hit the airplane anyway. Like, you could still be way off there. I could still blow you up.
Yep. I think that's about all I've got on the front page. So, are we ready for the questions?
Looks like it.
All right, so this last one was, oh my gosh, a long one.
This is 86.
Yes, and this is the one, which teams may move to counterattack? I think, let's see, we disagreed on C. Yeah, I said no, and you said yes.
Yeah, I think I said yes for everything. So
G, you know what? Yeah, you did. So C, we differed. G, we differed. I, we differed. J. So really only on 4. And mine, I think, was more the independent team than the like that.
And then you mentioned then, like, I remember my trap teams, which are independent, and they specifically mentioned they can do assaults.
Oh, that is a big difference. Okay, so. Oh, I didn't see the bonus question down below the picture. I normally don't scroll down. There's this bonus question. One, are there any types of transport teams that may fight in an assault? Yes. You're Germans. Half-tracks. I didn't even see these because I normally don't scroll past the picture because I don't want to get the answer. And 2, are there special rules that might affect any of the answers above?
Let me go back and look.
Yeah, because you're just talking about your independent guy. Good attack.
Oh,
that would be my guess. I don't know. So I'm not even ready for these bonus questions, to tell you the truth. Maybe I should pan down below the picture just to make sure there's no bonus questions.
Yeah, I don't see anything that my trap teams would count as. Because the big thing that will keep them from assaulting normally is that they're independent.
Yeah.
And they don't mention independent, which is why I was looking for the first time to say no. But
all right, so here we go. They've got A, B, can. So we were both right on that. C, cannot. So I got that one. What was C? I'll let you be up there and I'll be down here. So what was C?
C is infantry observer team. So
okay, yeah, because they were independent. Okay, D can. E cannot. We both said they could. What was E?
Manpack gun teams.
I thought they could counter assault.
Now that I mentioned, I realized they have some restrictions.
I know they can't charge into an assault. I always thought they could counter assault.
Apparently not.
Oh, wow. Okay, then F is okay. G, no. Okay, that's the one I thought. What was G?
Unarmored tank teams.
That's that unarmored.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
H can. I cannot.
Unarmored recon teams. So armored recon teams can. Unarmored recon teams cannot.
That one I knew because my Jeeps. They're an armored recon. They can't. That was what? I? Okay, J can. So you got that one right and I got that one wrong.
That's armored reserve teams.
Really?
So they can counterattack.
And then we apparently K and L cannot, which we both said they could.
K and...
I got K and L down here. Is there no K and L?
Oh, they got JKJ. Okay.
Oh, they do, don't they? HIJKJ. So K and J again, which is K and L.
Okay. Cannot.
Cannot counter assault.
Wow.
They didn't have it down there.
Armored Flaming Tank Team is K. And L be armored tank team that conducted anti-aircraft during the current turn shooting step.
Wow. The one thing, okay, I can see the flame tank because I think I remember reading about that. The one that still gets me is the man-packed one. Man-packed gun team.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. I just always forget what's man-packed gun teams. That's
it's
my
like
problem.
Machine guns and mortars.
Yeah. So yeah,
interesting on that.
They can counter attack.
Okay, so we did okay on that one. Not fantastic, but we did okay. So we also answered 87.
The bonus question.
Oh, what was that one?
Number one. Oh, you want to read?
So, are there any types of transport teams that may fight in an assault?
And the answer is German armored transport using the mounted assault rules.
And then 2, are there special rules that might affect any of the answers above?
Soviet flame tanks.
I don't know about that one. It says, look at page 199. So if you play Soviet flamethrower tanks, look at page 199.
Yeah, I just found it weird that infantry flamethrower teams can, but flame tanks cannot.
I think if you're a flamethrowing tank, you don't want anybody near your tank because you don't want to burn up. They just somehow rupture, or, mess up your nozzle or whatever, or I don't think you'd want anybody in your. Actually, I don't know if infantry would want to go near a flamethrower tank too. It's like that's why they don't ride on them.
Oh yeah. Sure, they go hey, guys want to ride?
No.
I'm good.
No.
I've been watching about 5 miles. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so now we're going to 87, which is what we've answered. And it's, a player is fielding a force containing 4 companies. How many companies have to fail their company morale check for the game to end because of it? And it was from 0 to 5.
Yeah.
And we were both kind of curious about 5 because there's only 4.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they're saying let's fail. I don't know. And so we both said B, which was 1.
1, yeah.
And the answer is B.
Yep.
Yeah, because I just remember that one guy was trying, and then he saw that rule. Was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, I just have to fail 1, and both are going. Ooh.
At first I thought it was talking about platoons. Then I realized, oh wait, you talking about companies? Oh, yeah, that's just 1.
All right, so we got that one. All right.
Woohoo!
We should just stop there.
Yeah. And that wasn't guessing. We knew that one.
All right, so here we go with 88. Who's attacking is the title of this one. An infantry company with the always attack special rule is facing an infantry company with the always defends special rule, and the mission is encounter. Which company is the attacker? So we have A, the always attacks company, B, the always defends company, C, the company which scores the highest die roll at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
I'm going to put down my answer is... Okay, I've got my answer down.
Wow. Okay. This is... I wonder if this is one of those trick questions. Because my answer is the always attack one. Because...
You're going to go with A?
Yeah.
That's what I went with too. Because it's always attack.
Yeah.
You don't need to roll. To me.
Oh, you have to roll to see who goes first. But who goes first is not the attacker.
Oh.
Because the attacker...
It just, it says which company is the attacker. It isn't saying which one going. I was
first.
double checking that. So,
yeah, I looked at that and like, wait, it's like, always attack, they're the attacker. However, that doesn't mean they go first, because this is set up, you have to roll a die to see who goes
You're
first.
right. So I agree with you on that. So let's see. Oh, they have the answer down here. C, the company with the highest die roll. In the fair fight mission, attacker and defender will be more honorary titles. Oh, do you know what? It is a trick question.
So basically they meant who goes first.
Yes. Which then they consider the attacker. See, we should have stopped with the last question.
Oh wait, is there another bonus? There's another bonus
There is
question.
one. Oh, I forgot to go down. I haven't looked at the answer, so.
Yeah.
Can a British infantry company elect to make a night attack here? I have no idea. I'm going to go if they are an attacker. Yes.
I have no idea.
That's what I'm going to go with. Bonus one is page 246. British infantry companies cannot elect to make night attack here as the mission uses meeting engagement special rules. I knew that. I was just testing you on that, Arthur. Okay, yeah, I don't play Britain, so I don't know. Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah. It's like,
I didn't like that question.
yeah, I'm going to complain on there.
Because it didn't say attacker, it just says go first.
Yeah, you said attacker, not who goes first.
Yeah, I call foul on that one. All right, so we're at 89, and I have a feeling this one's not going to be down there. You know what? I'm going to pan down below the picture, but not to the answer. Okay, there's no bonus question. Okay, I'm just checking there this time. I'm getting used to that. All right, so there's a lot of choices, but it looks like we only get to do one choice. I don't see multiple choice on this one.
Yeah, it's like, this is a scenario, which one is correct?
All right, so it says a command tank is bogged down. In which step in the player's turn may the commander take over another tank? So we have A, at the beginning of the movement step, B, at the end of the movement step, C, at the beginning of the shooting step, D, at the end of the shooting step, E, at the beginning of the assault step, F, at the end of the assault step, G, at the beginning of any step, H, at the end of any step. All right, so I'm going to go me, Arthur. I'm going to go... This is a tough... I'm between two of them. So... It's 50-50.
I have no idea, so I got my guess.
Oh, stop that! I can't concentrate with that going on. All right, so I'm going to go... Okay, I'm going to say that. Okay, I got mine.
G's my answer.
That's what I said too. Wow. So we both thought G, which is at the beginning of any step. I thought it was any time. They just bog down and you say, oh, they're going to jump over to this one. I didn't realize.
I didn't know they can take over, so that would be my guess.
And I don't know why you'd want to do it at the end. Well, I guess I could see why you'd want to do it at the end. So, okay. Next week, the cancer will be there. Okay. So, yeah, we did wonderful this time.
No, I think that one question was...
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Because
we're not going to count that one.
Because I didn't explicitly say.
So remind me when we do this. We'll edit that out.
No.
All right. So before
Go to the next section.
Yeah, we stopped and we looked at the encounter mission.
Read it from the beginning.
Read it from the beginning instead of at the end of the beginning of the battle. We read that number 2, which is you roll and that player goes first.
Yeah.
But going back to preparing for a battle, number 1, both players roll a die. The player with the higher score chooses one of the long table edges to attack from. That's where you get the attacker. And then I was going, well, what's the always attack special rule? And then that's where you said the tank on tank, infantry on infantry on tank company.
Yeah.
That's where that's going to play in.
Yeah. There's an order of type company type of your. Let me start over. There's an order depending on what your company type is.
Correct.
Who goes first? The always attack and always defend rules trump that. So I always defend tank company. It's always defending against the infantry company, even though normally a tank company will be attacking.
Correct.
But half of the missions don't use that. You just roll a die.
Yeah. See, I always thought always attack was always attack.
No.
Of course, I played it once. I had a patent or something like that.
Yeah, and my list from Bridge of Vermont are always defend.
Well, now we know there may be a chance they go.
So I already knew that, but again, I haven't played it in a while and only read half the rules.
Yeah, I didn't even go to the beginning. I just went to the beginning of battle because normally who you find who the attacker normally is or something like that. So yeah, that was our fault. So
yes, I'll allow them. Yeah, they're correct. We got it wrong.
We'll edit that out. All right. You agree with me this time about editing it out now.
That wasn't a yes.
That's new.
All right, so here's the situation. I have here. This is a shallow river, so this is considered difficult going. Okay, so we have a tank, a fully tracked tank. Want to go over it? What do they need to do?
Bogging check?
Yep, bogging check. Okay, we got a half track. It's going to try to make it over.
I'm not sure about this one.
It's a bogging check also. Okay, we got a wheeled vehicle, this M8 scout car.
The bogging check?
It's a bogging check. And a Jeep.
That was no battle check, or is that one also?
It's a bogging check also. So they all had a bogging check on the shallow stream, which is difficult going.
Yeah.
Now
I just don't use Jeeps and cars that often.
All right, so now we've got I'm going to go from the book here, just make sure I'm going to say it correctly. So this one is a shallow river. The other one was a stream. So this is a shallow river, very difficult going. Okay, so the fully tracked tank wants to go over it.
Bogging check? I want to say there's something else too, but I don't know what it is.
It's going to be a skill check.
Oh.
Okay, so we got a half track. It's going to try to make it over to shallow stream, or shallow river.
Is it also a skill check?
It's also a skill check. All right, because it's very difficult going. Okay, so we got the wheeled vehicle, the M8 Scout car is going to try to go over it.
Says it's a shallow river?
Yeah, considered very difficult.
Muscle skill?
No.
Just bogging check?
No. I'll come back to it. Okay, we got the Jeep.
They can't do it at all?
They can't do it at all. So one of the things you have to be careful about, very difficult going, if you're not reading very carefully, it's on page 43. Very difficult going is rough terrain and reduces the speed of the vehicles crossing it and can cause them to become bogged down. Each time a fully tracked or half-tracked vehicle needs to take a bogging check for crossing very difficult terrain, roll skill test, and it tells you the result, yeah, you're okay. But down at the bottom, other type of vehicles may not attempt to cross very difficult going. So only your fully tracked, and then I was surprised it was half-track was allowed to go into very difficult terrain, which could be a building.
Yeah.
I don't even think, if I remember right, I wonder if the half-tracks can even go in a building.
I'm not sure. One of those rules for infantry, I think they can go across, but they can't shoot.
There was something about some river crossing, if you have that river rule where they're kind of going across. Yeah, there's that. They have to stop at the edge. Then they go across and stop at the other side or something like that. But I didn't want to throw them because infantry can normally go anywhere except for impassable. So
Yeah, I only kind of know that because it's the type of unit I have, but like I never used their purpose.
like Mountaineers or something like that, or Pioneer, or not
Pioneers,
Mountaineers,
yeah.
Pioneers.
Pioneers get to ignore that rule.
Yeah, so it's very difficult going. It's not a bogging check, it's a skill check, but also only fully tracked and half tracks can attempt that.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Keep your allies close, but keep your enemies closer.
Okay, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Warrior from the North Africa book, but I've never ran him. But I would be interested in running this one, and it's on page 232. It's Major General Ernest N. Harmon, and he's a warrior. He's a higher command. What's interesting is he's a higher command transport team. So I guess he can carry other people with him. But he's fearless trained. He's in a Jeep. And he can join any tank or armored rifle company for 40 more points. Okay, so he's got 2 special rules. One of them is get moving. So each turn, if there's a platoon not pinned down and they're within 6 inches of him, he can attempt to have them move again at the end of the movement step, after all other movement is done. And this includes if they shot.
Wow.
So,
at the end of the movement? So
yeah.
That's before shooting.
Oh, yeah. So they can move twice. And then if you get a 4+, they move 4 more inches. Now, all the normal rules apply for moving, like they can't go through impassable, of course, and all that. But the platoon may still shoot and assault after making this extra move.
Wow.
So he gives it to 1 platoon within 6 inches of them if they're not pinned down. So that's one thing. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The other special rule is called Old Gravel Voice. So at the start of the shooting step, when he would normally rally a platoon within 6s, he gives that reroll. If the platoon is pinned down, roll the motivation test. If successful, the platoon rallies and is no longer pinned down. Any bailed out vehicle in the platoon take a motivation test, and if successful, they remount. So he kind of gives that reroll. So he's not only your first in command, he can give that motivation reroll.
So is that when can you read that rule one more time?
Yeah, so at the start of shooting step, Harmon may attempt to rally 1 platoon within 6 inches. If the platoon is pinned down, roll a motivation test. If successful, the platoon rallies and is no longer pinned down. If it's a bailed out vehicle, they take a motivation test, and if successful, they remount.
So you said at the beginning of the shooting step. So that's after...
At the start of shooting step.
So that's after, beginning step, try to get in, you failed. Shooting step, you get to try again.
Yeah. So he's 40 points.
That's nice.
He's, the extra move for 1 platoon, and then he's there saying, come on, guys, get in your tank, or come on, guys, get moving.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And he doesn't take the place of your company commander, because he's a higher command team.
Oh. So this is kind of like he's in charge, and then when he dies, then you have your...
Yeah, and your first in command still gives all those rerolls. He gives the rerolls, for certain motivation, and your first in command is still giving. Or your company command is still giving those rerolls too. So for 40 points, I was like, that's not bad. Actually, do you know what? Now, let's see, transport. Now, I don't know why company command I don't know what the deal with the transport team is. Why they have that. Maybe you can carry somebody. But that's Major General Ernest N. Harmon.
This is your in-depth reporter, Tiger Sherman, from Military Times News, and our continuing coverage of national tactics.
All right, it is time for Arthur to give us some national tactics.
Okay, going back to mid-war, I'm doing the 3rd Italian special rule, 8 million bayonets.
That's a lot of bayonets.
Yeah. the fluff rule of it, Mussolini demanded an army of 8 million strong to create his new Roman Empire. The rapid expansion needed for this led to reservist officers being recalled to the colors with little extra training. After 20 years of civilian life, some were still good soldiers. However, most were not. And basically, the rule is to reflect the variability quality in Italian officers. Italian platoons are rated as regular, elite, and artillery. After deployment, but before the first turn, roll a die for each platoon and the attached team, and consult the 8 million bayonet table to determine their strength and motivation. Something I recently realized last week that I did wrong. That I knew you have to roll to see what your training is. I didn't realize you need to roll for each platoon.
Oh, each platoon?
Yeah, you need to roll.
Oh, wow. That's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I rolled once and applied to
yeah,
I don't know why, but
wow.
I realized it is applied to each platoon separately. So this could be fearless conscripts, and this platoon would be reluctant train, and this is confident train. And artillery has its own table, so could be something different.
Oh my gosh, that's about as bad as that Berlin book or whatever, where like each platoon had its own.
Berlin is better because if I print out my list, you go like, so what is that? There's this. I know what they are. This is you need to have a marker for the various types of.
I guess you just got to pencil it in on there.
And then you have to.
Or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't even pencil it in because you have like 3 units that are the same but otherwise different. How do you keep track of what's different? You have to put the markers on the platoons themselves.
Yeah. I guess unless you do something like, I've got like my infantry red, white, blue. So I have the white platoon unit, the red platoon unit, and the
that
red,
keeps
blue.
them separate, but you still don't. It doesn't fix that. How do you know which is which?
Oh, that's what I'd have to do. Red is this, and blue is that.
Or you don't know to after you deploy,
right?
But before you roll for first turn.
And I think we talked about this one other time about what do you have to start within 2 inches of each other.
Yeah, so you have to start wherever your worst is. That's what you gotta.
Okay.
And if you're in reserve, you do not roll. That was what I saw in the file. Reminded me of that. So each guy in reserve, I don't know what they are. So these guys are way more random than I initially thought.
Wow, per platoon.
Per platoon.
Wow.
That blew my mind. That's why I'm still going to, if I play Italy, if I play with the Purge Troopers, because fearless veterans, don't care. But yeah, that's the 8 million bayonets. Random as random.
There are those people that do like random, though.
Well, then they're going to like Italy.
All right, soldier, you will shape up and you will listen, because we are now going to talk about Sun Tzu and the art of war. Attention!
All right, so we're going to decide just to finish out this chapter, because 18 to 24 was all about deception, and just left 2 left for the chapter, and then we're done with laying plans. So 18, all warfare is based on deception.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And which we'll get to here from 19 to 24. It'll talk about this deception. But one of the things I have in my book here says, this is the great famous line from The Art of War, quoted through the ages. That line right there.
Oh. Now that you mention it, there's this one martial arts movie I remember seeing, and it's kind of like the Karate Kid model. It's like have this guy's training, and while he's training, he's reading lines from The Art of War.
Oh.
And one of the things he mentioned is like all warfare is based on deception, which kind of leads to a plot twist at the end.
Okay. All right, 19. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must see inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. I'm trying to miniature warfare. That's a little... well, the able to attack and seem unable. That could be...
Yeah.
But the near and far thing, I don't see how you can...
The closest thing to that is when you pretty much forgot the Italians' Avanti rule. And you moved up too close to them. Yeah. Like, okay, I moved towards you, and then my Avanti move again.
Yeah.
And that put me in assault range.
Yeah.
So, like, try to use that when, I guess, your opponent's not quite used to the Avanti rules and not realize you have a longer range for assault. So that's one way.
Yep. That's a good one. All right, number 20. Hold out baits to entice the enemy, feign disorder, and crush him. Now, remember we talked about this one.
Yeah.
This is one we talked early in the pod, like one of the first couple of podcasts when we started talking about this. We were jumping through the book, and this is one of them. I remember talking about this.
Yeah. I have no idea what we said. I haven't looked back. Because I want to redo this and then personally look back and see things that we've changed. But, yeah, again, that's kind
Well,
of...
you could... One of the things is, okay, you got that Avanti guy sitting back there. And you bring something up to make my guys come out of their cover, assault.
Yeah.
You're not worried about losing too much of that. And then that just brings me in to be assaulted now by your Avanti guys.
Another thing I've thought of is like my trap teams. And again, on the one mission we played, we didn't have very much territory and stuff, so I couldn't have a lot to place them in. In a scenario like that, like I could put something juicy in front of you. You move forward to kill them, but if you're near like one place of terrain, I could put the trap teams in, and then grab you.
Yeah. And especially if you have like that 9 units thing where that first unit you lose doesn't count against you when you're doing the points. So it's like, I'm just going to throw these guys out here so I can take care of this problem.
That's true.
Okay, 21. If he is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. It's kind of hard to evade him, but superior strength, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not attacking you.
I guess that'd be kind of like where I was just trying to peg you from a distance, try to knock your guys out. I just couldn't get it. I could not get my firepower. And then you started attacking that one side, and that's where your guys came in. But that's one thing I was thinking about this. Be prepared for him. If he's superior strength, which your guys were at that time, because you had 20-some infantry in that unit, that platoon. It's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to assault this?
Yeah. And also like Volk's platoon. So, like, you need to learn, like, with your tanks, avoid them.
Yes, avoid them. Yes. All right, 22. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant.
Yeah.
I remember this. I remember talking about this.
Yeah.
If he's mad, make him madder.
Yeah.
And if he's going into, oh, you can't beat this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, you're right. Gosh, these guys are, what am I going to do, and try to do that deception to come in and make them, Because sometimes when you're arrogant, you just think, oh, I'm not going to lose. I'm just going to forget tactics. I'm just going to go in.
And you can do that in other ways, like if you have some units, especially if your opponent is not as familiar with your force, like you can have some that's like, oh, it's only a couple of guys, they're not that bad.
Yeah.
Or such about Volk's drum guys. If someone's not used to them, it's like, so what are those guys? Oh, just fearless conscripts.
I think, or something like that.
Yeah, like, oh,
I thought they were just rifle
no,
guys.
I think it works.
I can't remember.
But they're not that great. It's like, oh, yeah, assault them with tanks. Oh, each one has a
Yeah, see, I didn't realize that. I thought they were just like Germans. They had just their rifles.
Yeah,
like, I'll go in there. Well, yeah, that was a mistake.
That you kept making.
I have learned about your Volkstroms now.
Just took 3 tries.
Number 23. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. I'm trying to think like if he's on, especially if they're infantry, they can just sometimes just sit back on the objective. So
yeah.
You just got to keep going at them, which I tried. I keep referring back to that one game we played because I'm like, gosh, how am I going to take these guys out? And I tried, but I guess you just... It's hard in a miniature game, though, if you're taking his ease.
And basically, it's like, if they're trying to slow play the game, it's like, I can take my time. You need to do something to make them... You can't rest. I got to respond.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, 24.
Well, that's another part. That's only half of it. The other half is, if his forces are united, separate them.
You know what? Mine doesn't even say that.
Really?
Yeah. I just says, if he is taking his ease, give him no rest. That's all I've got. So what was the second part?
If his forces are united, separate them. And one way is, like, again, if there's two objectives, and you have both have your going towards both objectives, you might have to split his has to split and flop.
I tried doing that pincher move on you, and it just failed big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally messed up on that. I tried. That one I did try.
Going to like a different game, I watch a lot of pro League of Legends play, and one maneuver is like some teams do is like pincer moves, and they mention like when done correctly, pincer moves are very devastating. But the problem is that they don't come out at the same time. It's just one in time.
Oh.
They could just the team is on defense is all grouped together. Could just attack the one side and obliterate it before the other time can get there. So you need to be careful with that. And I think that applies here. If you don't quite get each other together, like, okay, this has come up, oh, they got bogged down or slowed down. So now that came back up the other team, and they just get obliterated. So you need to keep that in mind.
Yep. Okay, number 24. Attack him where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. Or at least go where you're not expected, maybe, too. Because I'm thinking ambush on this, but I'm also thinking just maneuvering, too.
Yeah, and reserves.
Well, I didn't expect you to go there.
Yeah, in reserves, is like, I did not expect you to come out over there.
Right. All right. These are pretty simple, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to talk about some of these. Okay, we're finally getting down to the last two, 25 and 26. 25. These military devices leading to victory must not be divulged beforehand. So don't let the opponent know what you're planning.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like I'm trying to trick you to go over here.
Yeah,
so
hey, come on. These guys suck, but you need to take them out. What's those guys behind them? Nothing. All right, so 26 is a little bit long. He goes, now the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his temple ere the battle is fought. I kind of want to stop there. Temple, to me, from what I read, was kind of, it sounded like their headquarters.
Okay.
And air was before. So one way I think to read this is, now the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his HQ before the battle is fought.
Yeah.
The general... Now, there's a part coming up that both Arthur and I are going to be like, what? Just get ready. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Thus do many calculations lead to victory, and few calculations to defeat. How much more no calculations at all? I will finish this out. It is by attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. So you're trying to figure out, okay, if they do this, I'm going to do this, and do this. Okay, if they do that. But what I can understand that. It's this how much more no calculations at all. I don't understand.
I think it's basically trying to say that the person who loses does few person who loses does few calculations. How much more do they do than second at all?
Okay, so I'm going to read it again so people can hear kind of what we're talking about. And then this is how it goes. Thus do many calculations lead to victory, and few calculations to defeat. How much more no calculations at all?
I think it's supposed to be like a there. How much more than no calculations at all?
I don't know. I've looked online and I looked for
I think they do
explanations. So except for that, how much more I can understand if you're prepared. Okay, they're doing that. Oh, let's do this. We planned for it. You know, we've trained for it. Compared to the what? So I can see that, you know, being prepared for many different situations that may appear in the game.
And they said the loser didn't prepare that much.
Yeah.
How much more than nothing?
How much more? What was that again? How much more? No calculations at all.
Yeah. How much more did the loser prepare than nothing at all?
Okay, I'll go with that. All right, so we will now go to Chapter 2, Waging War. Well, that wraps up another episode of War Journal, Flames of War. Your host, Arthur and Tracy, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find us on iTunes. If you like the episode, please subscribe and leave a positive review. You can find us on Facebook at Flames of War. And please like us. In addition, you can follow us on Twitter at warjournal_FOW. You can also find us on YouTube. Search for Tracy George, Flames of War. You can read Arthur's blog at chaosmagicwizards.blogspot.com. Finally, you can email us at warjournalflamesofwar@gmail.com. War Journal Flames of War is all one word, so no spaces are required. Also, please share the show on any social media of your choice. So, until next time, as always, have a good game.